Hey, I hope you're having an amazing day. Let me know how you are in the comments. In today's video, I am going to be sharing all of my favorite productivity tips with you guys. Now, I'm no productivity expert and I'm actually really good at not being productive and getting really distracted. But I feel like that means if something works for me and makes me be productive, it has a high chance of helping someone else be productive too, I guess. So yeah, hopefully you find something in here that's going to be helpful. Let's just get into it. My first tip for being productive is to make lists. So before I go to bed every night, I make a list of all the things that I need to do the next day. And the most important thing about these lists is to make sure that what you put in it, you can actually do, that it's manageable and achievable. Because if you don't complete your list, you'll probably be quite demotivated and feel like you've got nothing done. So make sure anything you're putting in the list, you can actually do the next day. Also, with my lists, I really like to prioritize what's super important. So for example, I like to do it on pen and paper, so I'll highlight the activities that are of most importance. That really helps because sometimes I might not complete a whole list, but if I've completed the priorities, it still feels like I've achieved what I needed to. Like I said, I make my lists on paper, but there's so many productivity apps out there where you can make lists if you prefer doing it online. My favorite app at the moment is Todoist. I'll just put it on the screen here so you can see what it looks like. Or you can also use Notes if you've got like an iPhone or a MacBook, or loads of computers have sticky notes on the computer where you can make lists. So yeah, you can pick a way that works for you basically, but a list is always so helpful. If I don't have it in front of me, I won't remember what it is that I really need to get done. Sort of going on from lists, something else that really helps me stay productive is having a timetable. So sometimes with a list, when I do prioritize, I get too laid back and only finish my priorities and not the rest of the list, which does mean a little bit of work starts to build up and get a bit overwhelming. So if I know that I do need to finish everything on a list, I make a really strict timetable for the next day to make sure I can fit it in. So I'll literally write in 8:30 wake up, 9:30 do uni work, 11:30 workout, if that makes sense. And I literally stick to the times because that way I will get everything finished that I wanted to. And also by making a timetable, you can see that it is achievable. The way I make my timetable, again, I can write it down, but for timetables, I actually like to use my Todoist planner app because I can move things around or cross things off if I don't need to do them. Whereas on paper, if you've made a mistake, you kind of have to start again or make it messy, which stresses me out. My first tip sort of together is make lists and make a timetable if you need to like really stay on it. My next tip for staying productive is being productive when you actually sit down to do something, if that makes sense. So when I've sat down to do uni work, how do I not get distracted? What's really been helping me, which I discovered quite recently, is the Pomodoro technique. So you might have heard of this already, but basically it's where you do your work in 2-hour chunks. So you do 25 minutes of work, get a 5-minute break, 25 minutes, 5-minute break. And that happens 4 times, and then you can get a longer break. Or if you're able to go on working for so long, I guess you could keep going. This technique really helps me stay productive because when I sit down to just do work for 2 hours, I often just don't start because 2 hours seems too long. Whereas if I know I'm going to get a 5-minute break after 25 minutes, that makes me so much more motivated because 25 minutes seems really manageable. So yeah, if you struggle to get started, I would really recommend this technique. I use the Focus Keeper app to time me. Like you literally just hit play and it does the little alarm when it's time to have a break and time to start work again. So yeah, give it a go if you struggle to sit down and do big chunks of work that you need to do. My next tip for productivity is probably one that you've heard before, and it is to either turn your phone off, put it in airplane mode, or put it completely away in a different room. My phone is definitely my biggest distraction. I could literally scroll through TikTok for hours. What I do, because I use the Focus Keeper app for my timings, I just put my phone on airplane mode, which works because I don't get messages. Like, I find that messages really distract me too, because I like to reply as soon as I see them. But yeah, if you've got a different kind of timer, or if you don't need a timer, like if your phone's a big distraction, find a way to get rid of it. And if that means turning it completely off, that's fine. Like, you need to get your work done, so get rid of your phone just for an hour or two, however long you want to work for. It seriously helps. My next tip to be more productive is to give yourself rewards as incentives to do your work. So it could be the smallest thing or a really big thing. If it's some daily uni work that I need to get done, if I finish all the work that I needed to in a day, I might treat myself to a trip to Tesco in the evening to get myself a yummy snack. Or I might treat myself to something slightly bigger, like new stationery, because I got my work done. I find that treats as incentives really, really work, because it actually makes me excited to get my work done rather than the dread of needing to get my work done. So I love using treats as incentives. My next tip for productivity is super important, and it is to look after yourself. I feel like I say this in many videos, and I'm going to continue saying it in many videos because it's so important. If you're not taking care of yourself, and that means getting enough sleep, enough water, enough food, and enough exercise, then you're just going to be frazzled. You're going to be so exhausted or burnt out, and you're just going to get even less work done, which leads to stress. So definitely always continue to take care of yourself while you've got work to do. So within your timetable, make sure you have plenty of breaks. Make sure that you spend some time each day doing something that you enjoy. Take some time out for yourself. It will help so much when you actually have to do the work, because you know there's other things to look forward to, not just the work. Now, on to my final tip to stay productive. This one's a bit of a weird one actually, and it is, if you're really not feeling it, don't try. I know that's probably the opposite of being productive, but I think we all have those days where we really can't do something. Obviously, if you have some sort of deadline, like an exam the next day or an assignment needs to be submitted the next day, you don't have much of a choice and you just need to push through, which sucks. But if it's just general day-to-day work, the world is not going to come crashing down if you take the day off and come back to it the next day. Sometimes we need to do that, because sometimes there's no point in sitting there and trying to do something when it's really, really just not happening. I'm sure you know what kind of mood I'm talking about. Like, I get it all the time, and if that happens, I either take half the day off or the whole day off and just do something else, because it's not going to help if you beat yourself up about not being in the mood and then not being able to do something. Like, it's too much to take on. So if you're really, really, really not feeling it, and if you can afford to, then just take a couple of hours off, or take the whole day off and come back to it really refreshed. I really hope that this video might help one of you get some ideas to be more productive. Obviously, these ideas are not the be all and end all of productivity. Like, there's so much more you could look into, but these are things that have helped me personally. So I thought I'd share them in case it helps one of you. If you want to see more lifestyle content like this, also uni and medical school content, then please go ahead and hit subscribe. I would love to see you again soon. And for now, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.